Hey, quilters, we're celebrating Earth Day and making use of our resources.
That's right. We're all about sustainable quilting practices today, so stay tuned.
Always, always. Hey, quilters, I'm Pam Heller, Quilts cutting expert.
I'm Erica Botker, Quilt's creativity expert.
All right, welcome to today's trunk show called Earth-Friendly Quilting Ideas.
Yes.
Today we're talking about sustainable quilting and making the most out of all of our materials, including scraps.
That's right. Now we've got plenty of our own ideas to share, plus some pretty fun prizes to give away along the way.
I think it's safe to say you're going to find plenty of inspiration in today's show, so let's jump right in. Okay, now I don't know about you, but I really hate waste and throwing out things that can be recycled. And that applies more to than just cardboard boxes or water bottles.
Right.
How to deal with scraps is something that I think every quilter struggles with, at least from time to time. And I know that I've tried different techniques over the years, and so have you, right?
Oh, yes. And you can trust that Pam and I have some pretty great ideas for using up scraps with a variety of our AccuQuilt dies. Now, one great use for scraps, where we're just going to jump right into, is using your Go Cube.
Yes.
Because if you cut them all, say you pick your 6-inch cube, and you cut them all with your 6-inch cube, you know they're all going to work together to build quilt blocks, right?
You can.
Or maybe you just want to pick one die, like a half square triangle die, right?
Right. So I've actually made an entire quilt out of just half square triangle scraps.
Right. There are so many different designs that you can get with just half square triangles. So take all your scraps, cut them into half square triangles, and I'm going to suggest keeping them in a basket right by your sewing machine so they're there when you're making your other projects. You can use them as leaders and enders.
And for those of you who don't know what a leader or an ender is, a leader, because half square triangles, we've cut off the dog ears.
Yeah.
We've cut off the dog ears, so it's flat right here. So you're going to stitch from here to here. So as you oh, here, I'm sorry, Greg. We cut off the dog ears.
Right.
So we're going to stitch from here to here. So as we feed it through our sewing machine, it doesn't have that point that's going to just gather.
Right.
So you can just start it and then chain piece for days. And then if you're sewing half square triangles together, then you'll just have a whole bunch of half square triangles.
Then when you're ready to clip off what you've been chain piecing, go ahead, sew another unit. You can leave that one on the machine, take the others off.
And pretty soon you're going to have what we like to call a bonus quilt without ever even trying. The Go Half Square Triangle die comes with the Go Me, so we're going to use the Go Me today to cut it.
Yes, so you get 2 dies in the box with the Go Me, the 3-inch finished half square and quarter square triangles.
And we have hundreds, listen to that number, hundreds of quilts on our website that you can make with just those 2 dies.
So I started making, you know, I've been going through my blue period.
Yeah, she is going through her
So
blue phase.
I started cutting up some scraps and whites and blues into half square triangles and making some blocks. So that's what I've been doing.
And press to the dark side.
Press to the dark side. Now, when you're using scraps, it's important to go ahead, check for your lengthwise grain. And I think, let's see, can these fit? Oh, this is too small.
Ooh, but that is pretty grunge.
This is pretty grunge. This is pretty grunge. The lengthwise grain is going to fit perfectly on. So I'm going to put a mat on that and just run it through.
Awesome.
There you go. Came out on your side.
Love, slide that mat, don't lift, pull out, and now you have perfect half square triangles. We've cut off the dog ears. From here to here is a 1/4-inch seam.
Right.
Okay, so Erica, can we manipulate that?
Well, I was just thinking we could. So my lengthwise grain is this way, and if I put my die like this, it's not going to cut. But if I put my die in through my machine like this, I can put this scrap on here. Mat, please.
Yeah, so quilters, we when you're first using our system, we talk about label at your belly, lengthwise grain parallel to that label. But the most important thing is the lengthwise grain, not necessarily where the label for the die is.
Right.
Just kind of help you out there.
So now I've made good use of that. I've got 4 more to add to my basket. So I'm just going to work on doing an all blue and white quilt, I think.
And are you using white scraps?
I'm using white scraps, but I've also got some white background. Like this one's got a print in it. So
Okay.
I'm going to do some low volume too.
Okay,
That's what I've cut so far.
there you go.
So when I get
So
done,
every time you're doing rows, do leaders and enders.
right,
I also like to use dies to cut up scraps into common pre-cuts, like a 2.5-inch strip makes jelly rolls,
yep,
5-inch square makes turn packs, 10-inch squares make layer cakes, and we have dies for all of those things.
we do. And in fact, Pam is going to be doing just that on next week's show.
Yes.
Because so many patterns are written around using pre-cuts these
Yes.
days. And if you're just getting started with quilting, that's a really easy way to get started. Now, Pam and I also have certain block on board dies that we like to use for our scraps, and we've talked about using those before. We've talked about Washington's Puzzle. I've been on a streak using, oh, you're going to see some of my same scraps. I had a lot left over from these. You want me to put that back over here?
Well, we could, yeah,
Okay. This is Millen Stars.
I do love
And
Melon
so
Stars.
I have a basket, and I could use these for leaders and enders too if I would just get organized. But I have a basket where I've been cutting these as
Yeah,
well.
I like this
Because
block.
different shapes are going to fit, you know,
Makes
different
an 8-inch
scraps.
finished block.
Yep. Okay, so that's another thing. So we also like to use, probably our all-time favorite for scraps, isn't it, is the log cabin die. And we just happen to have one handy here. So let's, Pam, you want to show everybody how we do that?
Yep. And I purposely went to our scrap bucket here at the studio
I have more here if you
and
need
found
more.
scraps. So I want to talk about this die because it's really important, and we're going to talk about it again next week. This is not a strip die. You're not going to cut with the fabric and just lay it like a strip die. These have crosswise blades, so this has to have the lengthwise grain going back and forth through the cutter. So the easiest way to know where your lengthwise grain is that it has the selvage.
Right.
Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to fold this like this, and I want to find, so it's going to cut pieces anywhere from 1.5 by 1.5, 1.5 by 2.5, 3. They're blades here.
Right.
So what I want to do is I want to find the widest strip I can cut, which I think is going to be this 9-inch strip. It is. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it here, lengthwise grain, right? Because we have our little selvage there. So now I'm just going to cut these 2 pieces. I don't have to use a big 10 by 24 mat.
No, I think a 6 by 12 is going to work really well, isn't it?
Yep.
Let me grab one.
Erica's going to use this. Now this will only fit through your Go and your Go Big, so we're going to use our Go Big today.
Yep. All right, here we go. Here we go. Get what I did there?
Okay, you want to talk about that die catcher, Erica?
So it's coming out on the other end onto our die catcher. Now, get excited, but not too excited because this is a prototype. It's not out yet. Pam, I'm going to hand you the die and I'm going to show them a little bit about this. So this butts up right next to the back of the cutter, and this little edge is going to fit right underneath, and that way it's going to snug right up to catch your die. Now, you don't have to have this, but it's nice if you do, and it does some tricks too. So it opens up, and it has space inside to hold your power brick, and then the power cord can come out here, the cord that goes to the machine can come out here, or as Pam and I like to say, you can also use it for your snacks.
Yep. And how do you find out more about our Go Big die catcher?
So you can find out more by going onto our website. You can enter your email address to learn more about this when it's ready to burst onto the market, but you can also place a pre-order with your local AccuQuilt retailer. Okay.
Okay. I have been giving false information, so we wanted to clear that up. Okay, we're gonna give it some love. Slide, don't lift. And now look, quilters, I took those scraps that probably you would just have tossed,
Yep.
and now I have made perfect 9-inch strips using
Yes.
my log cabin die. I really like this die a lot because
I
when
do too.
I'm done, I just cut strips up, and then I use this very high-tech method called Ziploc bags.
Yes.
And I've numbered them 1 through 12. And then I just put these in, I would put these in, I'm going to keep them because I like it. Bag number 9.
She found a good
And
scrap.
pretty soon you'll have enough for a quilt.
Yes.
It's really great.
And I love sewing log cabin blocks too.
Yep. All right,
really
so we
do.
did speaking of sew along, shall we give ourselves a plug?
Oh yeah, let's. So we are currently doing a quilt along with our partners at AQS. And we are doing a total of not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 of those this year. We did 5 last year.
Yep.
And last year, we did the Go Scrappy Star Log Cabin Quilt. And this is Pam's that she made there. And this is actually, you made a little bit bigger version, right?
I added extra rows because I wanted it to be long because we're tall in our family.
Yes, and I haven't quilted mine yet because I'm piecing my backing together.
So when quilters ask me how I cut all of these pieces different, that's how we did it. We just kind of laid
We
whatever
just kind of
fabrics
laid
we
it,
wanted on
laid
there.
it on there and cut it. It's really designed for that. It's very slick. We've got lots of videos if you want to learn more working with that die, so be sure to check them out.
And currently you can follow Erica and I. We're on our Wednesday shows. We are using the 10-inch cube to make the Go Simply Cubed quilt.
Yes.
And it's part of our AQS AQ Quilt Along. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out on YouTube or our Facebook page or our website.
It's a
Join us.
beautiful pattern designed by Anita Amador, who actually also works for us
She's
in other
phenomenal.
capacities besides designing. She's very talented.
There we go.
Now, I mentioned that I am currently working on piecing together my backing from my scraps for my log cabin from
My binding
last
scrubbing,
year.
yeah.
Well, I'm trying to do the backing. I just haven't
Oh.
finished it yet, and I need to get back to doing that. But I do like doing scrappy binding.
I do as well.
Yes, I like to take the fabric after I'm left with my top and cut it into 2.5-inch strips. We have a die for that, and use that to make my binding. And I've got one here. So this is actually, I made this for our glorified 9 patch from last year's quilt along with my
Have you
scraps.
not found it yet?
I have not quilted it yet.
Oh.
Okay, so the depth of the pile that needs to be quilted
is it
is
getting
deep.
bigger?
It's getting deep.
Okay.
So I have a like an old china cabinet that I put them
Ah.
in, and it's getting full. So I need to start getting myself it together. I like to cut them in random lengths,
Yep.
which kind of your scraps naturally
one's
will do anyway.
Longer. This
Yeah.
one's shorter. Cool.
And just put them together. And I like to put my binding ends together by mitering them so that you get this diagonal look, because that's going to spread out the bulk. If you just butt your pieces up and sew them together like this, by the time you put your binding on and fold it over, you've got like, I don't know, 8 layers of fabric or something at where that seam is. And this way, it's going to kind of spread it out. We've got a really, we've got a tip
trick.
we're going to show you. But I also keep my binding ends, which seems a little crazy, but you can keep,
I don't doubt the process. This is for you to do this.
yes. And I keep ends of binding, and then I can add them to scrappy bindings. I also use them to go around the raw edge of needlepoint canvases. That way it doesn't
Erica
catch your
is
yarn.
more than a quilter.
I've been enjoying needlepoint lately.
I am only a quilter in that craft
I'm
realm.
self-taught in all of these things. Oh, and here's a little flange binding. I keep those
There you
too. Okay, never know when you might need a little binding. But here's the trick for putting those ends together.
Can we
Because,
cut it on the Go Me?
oh, we sure can. I cut some too,
Of the same fabric?
of the same fabric.
Oh, well, yours is probably pressed. Go for it.
So we picked this because it was printed, right?
It was in our scrap basket.
And it was in our scrap basket. So we know how we normally would do this. You'd have to take your fabric, I'll put it over here so you can see it. Line it up like this, draw a line, sew, trim, press,
Nonsense.
trim. No, no, no. We have dies to do this. So the key is to use a half square triangle die that's bigger than the strip you're using. So I've got 2.5-inch strips here, and I'm gonna put these together up here so you can see them a little bit better. I'm gonna use my end, just,
Okay. Sorry.
and I'm
Just trying
gonna
to
get a nice clean cut. I'm gonna put it over and let my die do the cutting. I've already got an angle and a dog ear here that's gonna be perfect. If I take my mat, however, and put it over the whole thing, I'm gonna chop off the end. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna put it so that it covers the angle and feed it through. Don't worry about that tail, it doesn't care. The Go Me does not care about that. Now, look at this magic, quilters. This is my favorite trick of all, because this makes it so simple to put your binding together perfectly. Now you can put that together. It's gonna line up just right. You're gonna sew your perfect 1/4-inch seam, and when you press it open, it's gonna be perfect, and you're not gonna have to cut any dog ears off. It's beautiful. It's a
super
beautiful
cool
thing.
trick.
So that's the best of that. And again, I did that on my Go Me.
All right, quilters, it is a super fun technique, and it's called crumb quilting. Our good friend Emily
yes.
Bailey of Aunt M's Quilt has been on the show before, and she's written an entire book called Crumb Quilts, Scrap Quilting with the Zero Waste Way. I really like this technique, and it's really great for working with some of our bob dies. So Erica's gonna kind of talk about it.
So I sat down next to my, well, I always have my scrap jar next to me, and started pulling pieces out and sewing them together. And then just pressing them over, just folding them over. I wasn't paying attention to lengthwise grain. I wasn't paying attention to anything.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do crumb quilting, you can't be in charge of that.
Yeah, and I was just sewing them and pressing them over. And then if I got to where I was like kind of stuck, then I would just like, happened over here, I just took my ruler and my rotary cutter and I just chopped it off.
Sure.
And then I would start again. So I'm about ready over here, you know, I could do a little chop here, add a big strip and keep moving and build a really big piece of fabric if I wanted to.
But we're gonna show you how to use the scraps on one of our favorite bob dies. It is hands down one of my favorites. It is called the Morning Star die, and I love this die for so many reasons. But these are just isosceles triangles and then half square triangles.
Yeah.
It just uses the two shapes. So you could totally make a scrappy Morning Star using these pieces.
And you could do the same thing. This is the Mill and Stars, and cut just these pieces, but these are smaller. I kind of like how this one's laid out. I feel like we're gonna get a good representation of fabric. And man, you'd think I measured this or something. I really didn't. Look at that.
Look at that. And let's put a 6x24 mat, and we're gonna run
Let's
it
do
through our
that.
Go Me.
Wait, do you have one?
Yeah. Right here.
Is there one down there?
Right, no. Just gotta
Oh,
trust the process.
okay. I was looking on the bottom and those were 10 and they were gonna be too wide.
Okay, again, we're not worried about the little fabric that's hanging over
Nope.
because it's only gonna cut where there's fabric in a mat.
And I'm gonna say you might wanna just do one layer of fabric this
Yeah,
way.
because there's gonna be a lot of seams in there.
Yeah. So any place, because I've just been folding them over, there are lots of places where it's already 3 layers thick.
Right. Okay,
This
give
is
us
this
that.
is the fun part, to see how it turns out. So let's look at what we've created. Oh my gosh. These are super fun.
Look at that.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you, thank
So
you.
now Erica's gonna keep that part and
Right.
continue on.
So let's think about what we could do. We could offset them with some solids, or we could
We could build a
Just
Morning Star block.
build a Morning Star block.
Look
Yeah.
at how fun that is.
Super cool. That way it kind of goes together. This way it's different.
Yeah, I don't
my
like the
God.
going together thing.
Yeah,
So see,
defeats our
there's one
purpose
of
in
the-
life.
Yeah.
That
at
is
how
just
fun that
super
is.
fun, and just keep using it. And then I could just chop off the edges of this and keep
Yeah, building it.
building it again, building it out again and again.
Okay.
This is such a fun way to make use of scraps, but I think it's about time we gave something away, Pam.
Let's do it.
So let's do, what do you think, $100 in AccuQuilt reward points?
Do that.
Okay.
Great idea. The lucky registered viewer winning $100 in AccuQuote reward points is, drumroll please, Brenda M. from Addis, Louisiana. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And Brenda, I have already put those $100 reward points onto the account associated with your email that you registered with.
Oh, well, look at you being
Well,
efficient.
while I was sitting there this morning.
You know, I noticed that we had something sticking out of our scrap bin here, Pam. Denim. This is something that I think all of us struggle with because we all have a bunch of it, and if people know we're quilters, they tend to give it to us because they think that we're going to think of something to do with it because they don't want to throw it away either, and thrift stores are full of denim that needs to be put to good use. So we've got some ideas for you.
Let's do it. Let's talk about rag dyes.
Okay.
All right, so we have two sizes of rag dyes, and we have the large one, which is this one, and a small one that finishes to 6 inches.
Yes. No. The small one, 4 of them put together is going to finish the
There
same
we
as
go.
this one.
There we go. That
Yes.
was it. I knew there was math.
Yes, there is.
Okay, but we want to talk about this dye because right here along the edge, there are blades, because it's going to cut the fringe edge like you would do. Normally when you do a rag quilt, you're going to take your
Right.
scissors and cut it. But we've built the blades in there for you. So one of our tips is when you're done using it, we have
A high-tech method.
lint roller brush. Yep. And then we have a die pick that you could come through here
Yes.
and pick out those pieces as well.
So
So
I
you
like,
want to keep it clean.
you want to keep it clean, and you know what? It just takes a little bit more care and feeding than your average die.
And I'm going to tell you, of all the dies that we own, this one is going to use your mat fastest
Amen.
because it cuts so many blades.
Yes.
So you want to flip and turn those mats. Our mats get hundreds of cuts. Dies get thousands of cuts. So
Yes.
you might think after you've cut all of the shapes for a rag quilt, you might want to get a new mat.
Oh, absolutely. You'll probably be seeing daylight through those cracks. But we also have the Go Rag Circle Die. This is by Heather Banks. And the same tips that we just shared apply to this die, but it goes together a little differently. So it cuts that fringe around this circle as well. But you'll see that we've got some really obvious seam lines here. Oh, this goes together super slick. So I think we've got some samples of the Go picnic placemat, and we can show you how that goes together. No, on top of behind? Yes. Thank you. So this is with some colored denim, which is super fun. And we've got it with plain as well. But you put your batting and your cotton in the middle, a square, cut easily by a die, and then you seam your pieces together.
Right, so these use charm squares in the center.
And you seam those together right where you fold on the die, right where you see those fold marks on the die. So your whole row would be just seamed together, and then you can take the sides, fold them to the inside, and just sew them down inside the raw edge. This is like a Quilt as you go project, right?
It is.
So that by the end, because after you put your rows together the same way, you turn all your edges in, your edges are finished, your project is quilted, and it's all done.
It's
So
really
this is really slick, and you can make placemats, you can make whole quilts out of this same technique.
Okay, but if you're not a fan of the rag look, June Taylor has a ruler that you want to check out. So let's go
Yes.
there. Hold on.
We have so many things to share. Okay, so this is called the Charming Circles ruler, and it's going to work very similarly to what you just saw us do, and I think we've got some step outs over there. With cutting your circles, there we go, and placing your squares, folding your sides. Now these
think
aren't
it's bigger.
ragged, yes, these aren't ragged, so they're gonna still fray a little bit, but not nearly as much. And then again, you're gonna sew inside that line here, and again, it's gonna be a Quilt As You Go project.
Right, and the center is still that same charm square or 5-inch square. Cool.
And you could be a great idea to use some of the fabric glue stick or the quilt basting spray to stick those in the middle. And you could add batting if you wanted to. You certainly don't have to anytime you're working with denim because it is super thick.
Yeah, and the ruler has...
Yeah, so the ruler's got little slits in it, and you can take your water-soluble marker and mark those so you know exactly where to lay your square if you want. And then, like I said, you're gonna sew together. That's also gonna be your sewing line, and then it's gonna be your pressing line.
Yeah, look at that.
And I think we've got a couple sample projects over there.
Oh, let's do. This one?
This is one,
Is this the other?
and that's the other.
Okay.
So that one's made into a bag. This one's made into a wall hanging. For this one, they used the Color Fast fabric sheets and printed photos on it to be a little wall hanging, and then finished the edges with a decorative stitch. And then here's a really fun
And these are
tote.
waistbands.
Yeah, those are gonna be super strong handles, and how easy is that?
Yeah, look at that. And then the inside is finished. So look.
It's reversible.
Oh, if I can get it there. There you go.
So you could use it both ways.
Look at how fun that is.
Totally. So
Okay.
these are fun projects that you can do with denim.
Okay.
I'll give you that. Now another fun and super simple project for those jeans is the Go Strip Pizzazz quilt. that
Hold
we
on
have
here, I'm
over there,
turning this
where
back
she's
right
turning the bag.
the right way. Okay, I love this quilt. It is so heavy.
It is so heavy. I love a heavy quilt though.
I do too.
Now this one was made using our 2-inch strip cutter and then cutting it into squares and just sewing them, turning them opposite directions and sewing them together. Super slick and easy. Scrappy denim binding.
Yep, and then it just has a solid backing, but you could totally, gosh, if you lived like in North Dakota, you
Yeah.
could put flannel on the back.
Yes, you could, or something fuzzy, and it would be even heavier and warmer. You would keep warm in all kinds of weather. You could also do the same technique with our multi-strip die that has 3 different widths of strip on it, and that would be another way to make those strips and cut squares. Now I think we've got a bag over there that Susie Webster made.
Is this it?
Yes, that's it. This is the Go Upcycle jean bag. This is a new pattern.
Super cute.
Susie Webster
Susie.
from Webster Quilts just made this, and she made this with, again, some more upcycled denim. We've all got tons
And
of
this
it, right?
is really lightweight denim,
Yeah,
which is really
almost
nice.
more like chambray.
Yeah, and so you could throw a whole bunch of stuff in here. And then the handle is just pre-purchased
Just webbing.
webbing.
And she used the box bag die by Carolina Moore to do those box corners.
So it will stand.
Yes,
I like this.
I do too.
The Give News not here. I might take this.
Yeah, oh yeah. We've
Okay.
got some great new samples too.
Okay.
Well, quilters, since today's show is all about sustainable quilting projects and practices, including our scraps, we want to know how you all use up your scraps.
Let us know in the comments section wherever you stream our show.
Quite frankly, I'm hoping to pick up some new tricks from all of our quilters too, because they're pretty smart.
Yeah.
All right, now next to jeans, one of the clothing items that we wonder what to do with the most seems to be men's dress shirts.
Yes.
Men's shirts, but dress shirts in particular. And we've got some great ideas for using those, starting with a project Pam's been working on.
Yeah, so we have a dear, sweet friend whose great-grandfather passed away over the summer, and this is one of his dress shirts.
This is adorable.
Isn't this super cute? And it has the little pockets right there. And I just went to YouTube and found a tutorial, and you can he was a tall, thin man, so this is like a 16, a size 16 dress shirt. So, and then look at how cute the back is.
Pam, this is so
Isn't that nice?
cute.
And here's what I did not do, because the video told me, and I'm a rebel. I did not sew the buttons down, so he could take it out, Mark could take it off and wash it if you needed to.
That is so clever.
Anyway, I thought it was super cute, and it was just a dress shirt that from his grandfather.
And I love that because we've got so many. So I went.
Okay.
Oh, what?
No, go talk about
This one or the other one?
No, this one first.
This one first. Okay. So here's a shirt. Now this, unlike that, this is a big shirt.
Okay, this would be, so you can get different pillow frames.
Right.
Or pillow forms, not frames.
So this should make a big pillow out of.
Yes,
right?
you could use like an 18-inch pillow. And look, for sure, I would keep the little logo on it. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna go up the sides, trim off the sleeves, and then you can just follow how you can sew the seam or sew the collar down so it lays flat, or like on mine I wanted it to kind of stick up.
I kind of love how it sticks up on that.
Yep.
I've seen patterns making bags out of shirts, and if you had pockets like on that one, that would be fun. This one would make a pretty big bag, so I don't know. You might want to use a smaller shirt for that.
Also, so arms are great real estate.
Yes.
So you might want to just use the sleeves.
Right.
So do you see that, guys?
This is beautiful fabric too. This came from the Goodwill. I am totally keeping this fabric.
Yeah.
Because this is a tiny little red and white check, and I'll come up with something to do with it. As a matter of fact, I've got an idea. Let's leave it on the table, and I'm going to show you what else I did, because I've been seeing this all over, and I wanted to try it.
So I called Erica last weekend and said, what are you doing? She said, oh my gosh, I'm making an apron. I was like,
Okay, I'm going to put it on.
Okay, it's hilarious.
See? And it was a great big shirt.
Look at that.
So, and I cut the ties out and everything.
Oh, it's super cute.
It was super fast and easy.
And it has a pocket so you can put your cell phone in there.
Yeah. And I just left it. It's just raw around the collar. So I stretched the shirt out.
Okay.
And I cut off I basically,
sleeves.
well, I cut up the side.
Just like I did.
Just like you did, and I left it the way it was. And then I just kind of cut up here to the top and around the collar, left everything else, and then I used some of the back and a strip die, put together some strips for the tie.
Right.
Sewed them together. I did sew this down because I didn't want it to fray so much.
You could totally use sleeves for the ties as well.
Yeah, you could.
Because there's some really great real estate there. So think about like for Father's Day, wouldn't that be super cute?
Yes, yes.
I like this.
And use little shirts and make little people aprons too.
Little people shirts.
Yeah, it'd be easy to make for paint shirts. I mean, did you not wear your dad's old? I know I wore my dad's old shirts
for paint
paint shirts and crafting shirts.
Back
but
in the
this
day.
is kind of a new twist on that.
And we both went to YouTube. There's this thing called the internet.
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. And you know what? I have lots of great, look at all this fabric I have left over in this fun green and white check. I'm totally using this and putting it in my green basket.
And then you can use, Carolina Moore has a 2-die set to box those bags and to use rounded corners.
That's my next thing. I want to try to figure out how to make a bag out of one
How to make a bag and then use this. So this is going to give you rounded edges at the bottom, and this is going to give you a boxed corner. And you can make it 1 inch all the way up to 4 inches, and then darts.
Darts, so useful. I bet you could come up with a lot of other ideas for these too.
All right, let's catch our breath and give away $100 in AccuQuilt reward points to another lucky viewer who registered for today's show.
Excellent idea. All right. The next lucky winner is, drum roll please. It is Angelia Yu from Greer, South Carolina.
Congratulations. And I have already put $100 in AccuQuilt reward points on the account associated with that email.
Oh, very good.
All right, now we've taken some look at ways to upcycle jeans and dress shirts, but more and more we're seeing quilters working with and making garments these days. Do you want to take these?
Yes, I will take these and put these over here. So from quilted jackets to jazzed up sweatshirts, we're seeing how creative and resourceful quilters can be. And we want to start by showing off our I'd Rather Be Quilting. It's the denim shirt right there.
This is so cute.
This is so cute. It was designed by Tip Stitched and created by our friend Chris from Rose City Originals. And it uses our classic alphabet on the back. It's got cute little quilt box.
And our doll and doll.
And our Go Paper Doll and Doll Clothes by Tip Stitched.
Instead of buffalo pads for the elbows, it has quilt
I love
blocks.
that. Of course.
Of course it does. That's really cute.
Isn't that cute?
I like that a lot.
Super cute.
And then Chris and Tip Stitch also teamed up to make this really fun sweatshirt that says, I am an F. Again, our 2-inch classic alphabet and our paper dolls and doll clothes.
I love this. Now, we also have some new things to do. So if you grab the two over there, there's a teal one and a gray one. These are some new things to do with sweatshirts. Steph Jacobson from Steph Jacobson Designs make these.
Stephanie,
We're each
you're
gonna.
brilliant.
So, look how cute these
Okay,
are.
first of all, she made new fabric.
She did make new
And
fabric.
then cut from it.
And she's used our Carefree alphabet. I've got the lowercase, Pam's got the uppercase. And then look at what she's made. This was a crew neck, and she made a hoodie pocket for it. So it was this one.
Yes. And it's
I love
quilted
it.
and warm and beautiful. Good job, Stephanie.
I love these. So you could, I mean, I just,
Okay, I think on Instagram I saw her stitching these down.
oh, I bet you did.
Yeah.
She hand embroidered these down, which is super fun. And then it says, to everyone,
Be kind to
hand
everyone,
embroidered. I love it.
not just the people you like.
Not just, it's
So
more of a challenge that way.
You could do the same thing with a hoodie. Just remove the pocket, use it as a template, and replace it with a quilted pocket. Or this would be super fun for some of your crumbs as well.
Oh, it would be. I was just thinking that. And this is just scraps cut up, I bet, with her strip die. All right, another thing to do with an old crew neck sweatshirt is to split them down the center and make a jacket out of them with a zipper. And if you use one of the June Taylor Zippity-Doo-Dun zippers, it does not get easier than that.
Yeah. And zippity-doo-dun, you don't have to use a zipper foot.
Right.
It's just going to totally be there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Isn't that fun?
All right,
That is
earlier we
great.
mentioned jackets, and these are super popular with quilters like right now, and you can see tons of patterns and ways to go of creating one. One of our go-getters, Elaine Bergman of Patchwork and Poodles, she's been on our show before, and she talked about her patterns both for herself and her dog. But let's talk about what to use for one of those jean jackets.
Right.
So I think it's a great way. So let's say you have an orphan block like this. You could totally use one or more to create your jacket, to create the fabric.
yeah.
You could embellish with it.
That is a great idea. Now, somebody recently gave me a collection of finished and unfinished blocks, and I'm going to hopefully finish those, the unfinished blocks, and put them together and make a jacket out of them. So
In your spare time.
in my spare time. So stay tuned.
All right. So we've got some clever little projects for babies and little people.
Oh, yes, we do.
Are these they?
That's one of them.
Oh. Hold, please.
There's a little.
Oh, I see it.
Yep. We've got so many things. Okay. So we've got a little passy holder. So use your scraps, use some upcycled fabric, and make a little boxed bag.
Look, with Carolina Moore.
Carolina Moore, you can make itty bitty bags too with that box bag die. and just pop that little pacifier. You know, Miss Caroline, my youngest grandchild, she is the only one out of 5 who has ever like been a pacifier kid.
Oh, there you go.
So I need to make one of these, or take this one, as
There
the
you go.
case may be.
This is the Go Upcycle Burp Cloth and Bib by Ashley Fulton. And she used our baby dye. It has
She did, and she used an old T-shirt on the front, which I think is so clever because it's going to be soft and absorbent, and it's been washed a million times, and you're not going to have to worry about it.
Nope. Okay, and then these are they.
Oh, yes. These are super fun. These are reusable snack bags by Marianne Fontana of Fontana Originals. I love that she used really cool fabric on them.
Yeah, and she just used Velcro.
She did.
And
She
the
did.
inside is like that waterproof lining. You can buy it at the craft store.
Yes.
And that way, if, you know, the grapes spill or something,
Right.
there's not drama. But
Yes,
think
drama.
think about how easy it is just to use Velcro and make those.
Yes.
Because I am forever doing snaps.
Hedgehog fabric. I have hedgehog fabric at
She
home.
does.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going to pick your granddaughter up from school, you can slice up the apple and put it in one of these.
Yep, and she used our box bag dye.
That's
to box the
fantastic.
corners. I like this one.
I do too. They're super
Okay.
cute. Cute tulip pink fabric there.
All
right.
right. Thank you, Candy.
Now, I know we've been talking about ways to use up our fabric, but once we've used it, you need more. So that means we get to go to our fabric mailbox and see what our friends from Andover have sent us to give away today.
Listen, Andover has been so good to us.
They have.
Okay, I need to fix that with some glue stick. Are you ready?
Yes. Are we going to love it?
We are going to love it because it has pins
Ooh.
and scissors and things on it.
Oh, how
Look
fun.
at these fun, like just neutral
Nice,
kind of colors.
fun, neutral, and little prints. I do love a good little print.
I do as well.
Oh, these are fun and fabulous.
Look, little straight pins and bows. I feel like they made a whole collection just for Erica.
Yes, I do
Straight
too. And
pins.
little stitching lines. Well,
This is super cute.
they're super adorable, but we do need to give them away.
They say we do.
All right, the first winner of an Andover fabric selection is, drum roll please, it's Glenann T. from Pleasant Grove, Utah. Congratulations, Glenann.
And the second winner winning a selection of fabric is, drum roll please, Priscilla L. of New Holland, Pennsylvania. Congratulations.
Congratulations. I may have pronounced her name wrong. It may have been Gleann.
She knows.
Okay.
She knows who she is.
Okay.
I'll send you an email.
Okay. And a huge thank you to Andover for sponsoring today's show, helping us make it so great. Our quilters are going to love making all kinds of things with this fabric.
Okay, look what Kenyon did. He put the responses
Put the responses in the pocket.
in the pocket. How to use a
Clever
first
boy.
scraps. Okay, you ready?
All right, let's see. I want to learn some new tricks.
Sheila says, my mom made jean stockings. There's a dye for that.
Oh, yeah.
For the 4 kids in the 70s.
Oh, so here's the tip about cutting your jeans on a die. You know what I'm going to say?
Don't add a pocket.
Yes. You want to cut like one layer, and that does not include a pocket or any of the seams. Note to self. Okay, Catherine B does string quilts, and that is a whole nother thing. We didn't get into that.
whole
That's
new
kind
genre.
of like similar to doing the crumb quilting.
Joyce likes to make scrappy quilts, me too.
Yes, I do too. My last one I thought was going to get rid of all of my scraps. I couldn't tell I'd gotten rid of any by the time I was done. Let's see. Oh,
Kathy B used hot pads and makes placemats. Listen, we make rice bags.
oh,
Do you know about rice bags?
rice bags to heat in the microwave?
Yes.
Yes.
Because rice bags, unlike a heating pad, will form to you.
Yes.
So think of it like all those orphan blocks or scraps you could.
Oh,
totally
yeah,
make
that's a good idea. Lynn Kay says she uses scraps to stuff cat and dog beds for the Humane Society. That's awesome. You may need to check with them to
Yeah.
make sure that's acceptable because I know they all have the different
They
rules.
have different rules. Anita S uses pieces for small applique, which you should totally do.
Yes, and we do that too. And Barbara R., I cut most of my scraps into 2.5-inch strips and squares. That is a great practice to get
yeah,
into.
I feel like
because
someone
again,
would do that.
those pre-cut sizes are so standard. You can use them all. You're ready to go.
And we're going to talk about pre-cuts next week.
That's right.
Okay.
While I'm gone.
Erica's going to be in Chicago at H&H.
I will.
All right, quilters, we have tons of great deals available for you on our website.
We do. So if you want to get an order in now, open a new tab on your browser, type in accuquilt.com/party. You can see the offers and place your order. And don't forget to pick up, or should we say adopt,
Yes.
one of this month's die to try while you still
Get a
can. It's
picture of
the
it,
Go
Greg.
Kitten. And the Go Kitten die is so adorable, and
Super cute.
our quantities are really limited.
Yep.
Greg's going to give you a picture of this little project
This is
over
a super
here.
cute project.
Look how
at our
cute that
little
kitten is.
Really cute.
You can cut a whole litter in seconds.
You can. You can get this cute little die from us or from your local AccuQuilt retailer. It's just perfect. And we are most likely going to have a sellout probably here in the next day or so.
Yeah, we think so.
So if you're placing an order today for some of these dies to help you with your scraps, be sure and throw in a Go Kitten die.
All right. Well, quilters, it is time for us to get ready.
Yes,
What?
I can do that.
Oh. It is time for us to get ready for our next show. We hope today's shows inspired you to upcycle and put your fabric scraps to good use in some fun new project and maybe some new and different ways.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching our show. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel and look for live events every Tuesday and Wednesday.
You can visit the events page on AccuQuilt's website for more details on upcoming shows. And while you're there, check out the blog for tips, tricks, tutorials, and inspiration galore.
And remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time.
So you can quilt more.
Be sure to join me every Wednesday at 12 noon Central Time for AccuQuilt Live. Tomorrow we're sewing together the second block in our AQS AccuQuilt Along, making the Go Simply Cubed Throw Quilt. Tune in and join the fun to see if we won outdoor prize that we give away during the show.
And join us every Tuesday at 12 noon Central Time for launch parties, truck shows, and more. Next time, Pam and I will be inspiring you to make your own pre-cuts to bust up your stash. See you there.